Oh, hello. We're going to be covering hot foiling and debossing. Now, personalising your leather goods, it's really good because people obviously like things that are given as gifts if they have their name or initials on them. Just makes them somehow a bit more personal. And of course, if you're making things like bags, it's very nice to be able to put your logo perhaps on the outside or just inside the bag. So yeah, it really takes the level of your leather craft up. Now, there are a range of machines you can get for this. Very lucky today to have the Foilcraft EasyZ Pro, and I'm going to show you this machine in a fair bit of depth so you can see what it can do. And as we go along, I'll also give you quite a few sort of like hints and tips on things to bear in mind when you're both hot foiling and debossing. So we'll get underway. I'll show you the machine first of all, but as always I like to be transparent about these things, and this video is sponsored by Creative Printers of London, who make the Foilcraft machines. It's a really lovely series of machines. You can see them on the website, and I'll pop links just below in this video description. They're very transparent on all their pricing, as you can see exactly what's fair. So anyway, let's get underway, let's learn a bit about hot foil and debossing, and let's have a look at this lovely machine. Well, here's the machine, and it's a beast, but actually it's a beast in a very compact footprint. What is unique about this machine is its flexibility, because you've got a very large area here for printing. You could load this up with type cases. It's 4 inches by 3 inches. So you can get a lot of different writing, etc., or a big branding logo in there. This plate you can just unscrew, it comes off if you want to. But you've got this massive area on which you can actually do things. You can also adjust the height of this whole printing head. So if you want to hot foil something like a rigid box or something that's higher, you can put it underneath. I will a little later on show you there's some accessories you can get, so you can even do things like the inside of bags, where a bag is like a boxy big bag, but this whole section is height adjustable to 5 inches, so it goes up and down. So it is incredibly flexible, and I think if you're sort of not exactly certain at this point what sorts of things you're going to want to be doing, this machine does offer you huge potential for all sorts of hot foiling work, simply because you can go literally from A4 binders and big family Bibles that are really thick right through to smaller items like wallets. The flexibility is huge, and it's all easy to adjust. So things like the height here, you can take it up and down with these lovely high quality turn screws. We have incredible bearings here. The temperature control unit is obviously some form of PID type unit, but it's by the best, needless to say, it's an Omron. Now Omron do, as you probably know, a lot of the medical grade equipment, so it's all top finish. One of my biggest, if you like, gripes about a lot of hot foil machines is they're actually very fiddly if you have to do micro adjustments to like level your type. Or here you've got 4 screws at each corner. You can easily adjust that bed should you need to, perhaps if your work's uneven or something like that, and it's very quick. It's just undoing and redoing a screw. You can re-level if you need to. You're not having to sort of fiddle from underneath with lots of bolts and bits. It's really well done. And I mean, the engineering, as I say, it's about 12 kilograms in weight, and it's built like a tank. It is perfectly liftable, perfectly movable at that weight. But it is nice and solid. It's not going to slide around your table and go all over the places you're trying to print. So yeah, let's get on and use it, and I'll talk a bit more as we go along. Now, for the hot foiling and debossing, you need obviously something to strike into your material. So here, for example, I've got my small Bucklehurst logo. This is the one I use on small belts, and you can just attach this to one of the standard blocks they have with a handle on it, using some little sticky double-sided tape that they supply. So a bit of heat, I can just mount that on there and then happily be off printing. They also do a screw based block, so if you have a custom die like I have here, which I use in my larger belts, you can mount it on this block and put it in the machine, again for hot foiling and embossing, etc. Creative Printers of London, they will be able to make up pretty well any die that you want to have. So you can just send them in a design and they'll be able to make you a die. If you're wanting to get lettering done, then they can also supply very nice sets of letters. And my little sort of tip here to bear in mind is it's worth having nice quality letters like these. These are full printer's height letters. So they're like just under the inch high, the whole block. Lovely mass that it sits on, it's really firm. But the key thing about these is they are deeply engraved. They're also superbly engraved actually. But can you see that sits probably 2.5 millimeters proud? What that means from a leather working perspective is when you're debossing or hot foiling into leather, and it's softer leather like veg tan, there is no risk that you're going to hit the outline. You'll get a nice clean impression. It's lovely high quality. The people who supply these machines, Creative Printers, Foilcraft, they can supply any type pretty well that you might want. So they have a whole catalogue on their website. As I said, links below in the description. But you can ask them to supply something customized and pretty certain they'll be able to do it for you. They also do fun little emojis and things like that as well. I say nice and deep, that's the key, and then you get a nice impression. So if you're using type in the machine, the brass type, then you can pop it into one of these little slip cases and that holds it all nice and securely. You have spacers, little sets of spacers, these are called quads, and if for any reason you feel that the spacing between the letters isn't exactly as you want them, then you can use little spacers between the letters. I've tried a few of these now, I'm quite happy with the spacing as it is, but as I say, sometimes you want to change something, you can do. So that's the slip case which you can put in the machine. So if you're doing a lot of sort of like changing over with type, you may want to consider one of these little slip cases which are self-centering. So with these, there's a couple of little screw threads running along, and you just turn one of these knobs and you can tighten up or loosen the row of letters in here, and it's quite a quick way of doing a changeover. So if I loosen this, you can see the letters suddenly start moving and I can take them out. That's quite a quick way of loading in and changing the letters. So just to demonstrate the hot foil, I've put my name in the slip case here. I've put in some spacers, so I'm just having my name only, but there is space for lots more lines, and I have just made sure that everything is nice and tight. Then just switch the unit on and let it heat up. It climbs to its required temperature pretty quickly, which I was quite impressed about. So it goes slightly above the temperature you're aiming at. So I'm aiming at, for gold foil blocking, 110. And it will go slightly above, like up to 115, finds its position, it then goes back down to 110, and it hovers, plus or minus a little bit. But it's pretty rapid and pretty well controlled. So again, pretty impressed with that. So I'll just let that warm up. That warms obviously all this block up, and then we're ready for some printing. What I have done here in preparation is a little trick of the trade, and it's rather a good one. If you get some cellophane sheet, acetate sheet, and I'm going to print onto this here, it's roughly just over 3 millimeters thick. So I'm going to put a spacing of the same sort of thickness and just do an impression on the acetate. What I'll then be able to do is position my fob exactly where the impression is on the acetate and then move it back and do the impression. It's just a way of very accurately placing something where you perhaps haven't got a huge amount of space. So you can buy this foil, some comes with the machine. In fact, if you mention my name, if you decide to order this machine, they'll actually send you 2 free lots of foil if you order it at the time. So mention my name, put Harry in if you place an order, and you'll get a couple of free rolls of foil. Anyway, I imagine that's gone up. Yep, it's just gone over at the moment. It will come back down. Right, down I go. I'm slightly off register because I can see that the H of Harry isn't as flat or complete as I was like. That is not a problem because this is the magic of this machine. You can take account for different thicknesses of material, so I know that it's a bit lighter my side. So what I need to do with the bed is actually get this front edge down a bit. Well, just a couple of turns on this handle to take the other side up a bit, and I know that will be about right. And just test that out as a quick tester. Yeah, that's gone nice and evenly all over. Just shows how quick the adjustment is. If I'm being really critical, I need a tiny bit more pressure at the top of that H. That's fine though, because another little quarter turn on that wheel and I'll have that perfectly aligned. That's what I think is really good about this machine. It is so quick to do an alignment. Really good. If you need to do further sort of alignments, you can adjust these screws if you have something that is not flat. These screws on top. So I'm just going to do a final test print. You can check your location of where you want the print to occur with this cellophane here. I've got the Harry marked across there very happily. Move that out the way. Put the foil on in position and press down. Nice quick press. And perfect. So I did that little micro adjustment and you can see there that is absolutely perfect. Now I know this is a similar sort of thickness, so I think I'll get away with it. I will take the strap off, pop it on the bed, mark where I want my name to appear, and then I will, just as an added precaution, tape it down. Being a small item and a bit irregular in shape, there is a strong chance it could move on the bed. So I've just done a quick check to make sure that I'm happy with the position of that. I've got it all taped down. So all I need to do now is put my foil on. Final check there. Move that cover away. I know the placement's going to be perfect. And down I go. And there you are. A perfect impression. How clear is that? It's very good. Very quick as well. If you were doing, you know, a batch of these, you could get it set up and you could easily do 20 or so. So this little cellophane type trick is really one worth remembering. I should just add, this machine comes with a pair of safety gloves, and you do need to be careful obviously, because all of this does get, once it's up to heat, it gets quite hot. So use of gloves is fairly essential. So let's have a bit of fun. Let's try this carriage out next. So again, similar idea. Load it in and then do the impression. So I'm doing exactly the same thing. A bit of cellophane, a piece of scrap which is the same thickness as the item I want to gold block. Down I go, and that will give me a very nice impression ready to go. So I'll take that scrap out. I have one more of these luggage labels. I should just add that the creative printers on their website, they've got a whole array of very nice leather goods that you can get embossed or gold blocked, and this fob is another example of one of them. They're very reasonably priced. Check that's in position. Now they do also, I should have mentioned actually, you've got, if you want to, magnetic hold down bars, which seem quite a clever innovation. So you can actually put those top and bottom on a product, and there's some thinner ones here as well which hold the product, which is quite clever. And this, as I say, this little chrome table, stainless table, it can be totally removed if you want to as well. I quite like personally just using a bit of PVC tape on this, but if I was doing a batch of them I would use the magnetic guides, there's no doubt on that. But as a one-off, a bit of PVC tape seems quite a nice way of holding on there. So gold foil on there, down we go. And there you have it. It's really easy. What you can do, this is a very slightly textured surface, and again it's another little tip of the trade, but you can do one impression to basically deboss it, then put your foil on, and this machine is so accurate that I can now do the same embossing again, and that is saying quite a lot for the machine, but it will hit the same area. And there I have it, a very nicely done both sides. Next up, I just want to show you how you can do a logo. So this is on the plain block, and you can get a tape, again all of these things from creative printers, you can get a tape which will stick your logo block on. So I'm just using some dye bonding tape here to stick my little Bucklehurst logo onto this aluminium block. Let that bond on, just a little bit of heat on the tape and you get it bonding on. I can feel the heat coming through, I don't want to leave my finger there. I should strictly be wearing gloves, I know. Worth also me just saying, I've been using little sections of tape. The machine does come with a couple of nice rollers, so if you're doing a bulk lot of items you can just whiz them through and wind on. So I'll pop a couple of the magnetic guides there and just pretend I haven't accurately aligned this, but it will show you how it works all the same. Down it goes, and you get a nice logo on there. I'll just pull that off. Look at that. You imagine that inside a nice bag or on a wallet or something. Does look rather nice. That's my little mini Bucklehurst logo, and as I say, that's just stuck on with the tape. So you could take that off, you could put another logo on if you wanted something else. But I do think that is particularly nice to look at. I'll show you, this one is my larger logo on, you can get these special blocks from creative printers which have screws and you can put them in and out, in and out. The advantage of this over the gluing kind, this gets a little bit messy after a while, and this, if you're doing a lot of changing over, is probably worth considering. It's obviously it's screwing, you can adjust the position of these screws and get bigger things on, but again this machine has got quite a good printing area. Gloves back on, I'll take this one off and slot that one in. Changeover is really quite quick and easy. Have little handles, put it on some MDF or block, and in it goes. So my larger Bucklehurst dies already. Got a little off-cut of leather here, bit of gold foil, using a magnetic strip to hold it. And there you have it. Again, another very nice impression. In fact, it's so good I have a chip on this stamp just by the T, and that's even come out as well. So the sort of results you can get. All in all, very impressive. Here's another one, same technique. Put the cellophane over, get the positioning, deboss it once to get the indentation because it's actually quite a sort of uneven leather, and then gold foil on the second pass. And you've got a nice little slip card wallet here, make a very nice little gift. Again, another item off of the Creative Printers of London website, Foilcraft website. Again, link is below in the description. But you could get those. They do key rings as well and a few other things, little clutch bags, etc. But there are actually a huge number of applications for a machine like this. I mean, here's a pencil and you can see it's been gold blocked. So you could do personalised pencils. That is done simply by attaching this little silver holder to the bed of the machine, and you can then do printing on pencils. You could do printing on pretty well anything actually. You could do your own business cards, you could do printing onto bags, you could do it onto your boxes. It is very versatile, this machine. Big wide bed, and it can take quite large dies with 4x3 printing area. So it really does hold quite a bit of potential. Going to show you the bag attachment because I think that is particularly interesting for leather workers. Now this additional platform is really helpful because you've got clearance underneath. It just bolts at the back here and it has a couple of little adjustable supporting feet as well. But what it means is, say you have something like a three-dimensional object like a bag, you can put that on the table and down you go, get a nice branding mark on a bag. You could do the same for a box, anything like that. So I mean, again, just to show you, a bit of leather here. That could be the interior of a bag, and you'd have that rather nice little bit of gold foil blocking. It really would lift, I think, in the interior to see that. It's quality. For debossing leather, I want to take the temperature up, and again, it's very straightforward. I want to take it to about 125. It's a couple of button presses. I'll say a couple, but you know what I mean, it's two different buttons. Let it sit. That will now go up to 125, slightly higher temperature for debossing. I should add, this works, they can supply models on both 220 volts and 110 volts, and they do have agents in Europe and in the US, so these are being shipped all over the place, all around the world. So again, links below in the video description. So I'm just going to show you debossing. Now, a little trick of the trade, if you like, here is if you have a softer bit of leather underneath the bit of leather you're trying to deboss, you will get a better impression. And when I make wallets, I always do that. I have a bit of softer leather underneath. So down I go, and as you can see there, I have a very nice impression. I'll show you one other trick one can do. I'm going to spray the leather. It doesn't need much water, but just a bit. Try and aim for the same sort of area. Well, actually, in a way, it shows it quite well, because where I didn't have the water, it's not so clear, but where I've got the water, it's far more legible. So that's the other thing. You can put a bit of water on there and it will make your branding mark really show up very nicely. So a couple of little tricks there with debossing of leather. Well, I hope you found that useful. I must say I'm very impressed with that machine. It really is built very solidly, and it is hugely flexible with all its accessories. So anyway, if you're interested, take a look at the website. I've popped the links below in the video description. The machine is available in the US, available in Europe. They do quite a range of machines, so if you want a slightly smaller machine, they do that. If you want something else, I'm sure they can fit you in and do something. And of course, don't forget all that brass type and all the leather accessories they sell as well. So it really is a wide range. They do the whole thing under one roof. You know, it's a whole sort of front to back business, if you like. And it's a family firm, seems very nice, been going for a good like 35 years, and they take customer care very seriously. So it's why I feel I'm very happy recommending them without hesitation. They get good reviews as well if you have a look on their media. So yeah, and if you are wanting to get a machine from them, quote the offer Harry, just put in Harry on your order and you'll get an extra couple of rolls of gold foil with your machine. So bit of a bonus. But thanks very much for watching. And if you've got any questions, just ask away in the comments below. Do our best. And obviously if you've got actual samples of leather work you want to have embossed, Creative Printers of London will actually give you, you know, impressions on one of their machines that you might be interested in. They do it for I think a couple of samples, and it's really just to let you see the sort of thing that can be done. So they have that service as well. I think they thought of it all actually. Anyway, see you in the next video, and I'd like to say a final thanks to Creative Printers of London, who make the Foilcraft machines, for giving us this video and chance to show you all the features of this machine, and also a few tips and tricks of the trade for hot foil and embossing or debossing. Okay then, bye bye.